welcome back to another episode of On the Rocks here on the Filmaholic channel. We have Ethan here and I'm Matthew, and today we're going to be discussing the concept of rebootquels. If you don't know what a rebootquel is, it's a film that is a reboot, but also a sequel. Essentially, that's what I was looking up the actual definition. But even in that, I don't know if I exactly agree with. I don't know. Reboot in general is just like essentially a remake without remaking the same storyline. So this isn't exactly that, but that is the term, I guess, rebootquel. But it's mainly what we're going to be talking about here is films that they're a sequel to an older film. They bring back the original cast, but they ignore other sequels. So instead of being an actual sequel to the franchise, you're doing a sequel just to the original film, or maybe you want to extend the rules and it's a sequel to 2 films or 3 films, but cuts other films out. And that's the idea that we're taking here and what we're talking about. Some films that have done it so far, and these are ones that have happened recently, was Terminator Dark Fate. That's been the most recent one in 2019. Before that, in 2018, we got Halloween. Probably the most successful one, I would say, would be Halloween. And it's spawning 2 other sequels coming out soon. That'll be sequels to a rebootquel. Actually, Halloween has done it twice now. I believe H2O back in when that came out. Was it 2000? Was that actually when it came out? Or is it? No, 98. Was it? I don't know.
I didn't watch it. It didn't interest me.
I had seen it back when I was when I was a kid, but I don't remember much. But when I was looking it up back when this other Halloween came out and was thinking about the idea of the film, it turns out I think that was actually a sequel to the first 2 Halloween movies. So if you wanted to, you could watch Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween H2O or H2O as a trilogy. And I guess Halloween Resurrection would be a 4th film in that series because it picks up where H2O left off, I think. I don't know. That movie sucked at Resurrection, I know. But also they have, well, if you caught our last episode of Top Shelf, we also talked about how Texas Chainsaw 3D, that garbage film, was also technically a rebootquel because it was a sequel to the original Texas Chainsaw. It was garbage though. But some other films that are coming down the line that are also going to be rebootquels that they have, already talked about are RoboCop. They're doing a sequel to the original RoboCop. That'll ignore, I guess, was it just 1 sequel?
2.
They're just going to ignore those and just do a straight sequel there. They're also going to do another rebootquel for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which will be a sequel just to the original film. And they want to keep it kind of in the style of the new Halloween film, which I'll watch it probably. I'm interested, depending on especially what studio and everything makes it. But, I don't think it's going to do financially the same that Halloween did. And we'll talk about Halloween in depth here in a second. But just because I don't think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is as iconic as Halloween in terms of cinema goes. And people...
I think it's better.
You think it's better?
Not more iconic, but I do think it's a better movie.
I don't know. I have to watch them back to back. But it's definitely... Financially, it's not...
No,
There's no way it's beating Halloween. And then we also have, they're doing a reboot of Scream, which you've suggested the idea that you think it could be a rebootquel. It could be a sequel just to the original or the original 2 films. I definitely hope that it's not. It's going to turn me off if it is. But we don't know what Scream's doing at this point. We also know...
I don't think you're getting Scream 5. Now, whether you call it that or what, I think it's either going to be a complete reboot or a rebootquel that only follows the first and second movie.
Or could it be as another film that doesn't ignore the events of the other 4 films, but takes place in the world as those events, and just it's just another film in that world?
That doesn't interest me.
The only thing with Scream that interests me is Scream 5. Like, if it's not that, I don't need it. I'll have the original films. I'll watch those and enjoy them, and then yeah.
You'll
Um,
like it.
I will not watch it if it's that. Um, Alien, Neil Blomkamp, back when people were still loving what he was doing, I guess, with his one movie.
2009.
The studio said that they were going to give him Alien. He wrote a screenplay. He actually talked. I know Sigourney Weaver was excited for it, and they were going to make Alien 3, their version of Alien 3. They were going to ignore the actual Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, as well as the Alien versus Predator films, and just take it back. And she was returning, and some other characters as well. And obviously, since he had that Matt Damon film that came out, and then also, which I think this was after the Matt Damon film, but what really killed his Elysium, but what really killed his chance of making Alien was Chappie, which I thought looked good. Never watched it myself, but yeah, killed his chance of making this movie. They cut him out. That and the fact that Ridley Scott was really into his Prometheus films and wanted to keep making those, and was like, he's not going to make Alien 3 until I get done with my Prometheus films. And then now theirs are not getting made either. Now, honestly, though, whether Neil Blomkamp comes back and does it himself, I don't know if that'll happen. But I do think that idea is going to happen. I do think we are going to see that Alien movie. Whether it whether he's involved and some of the story elements stay the same, I think, because Disney owns Alien now, I think when we do see them do something with Alien in the next few years, I think it'll be an Alien 3, which will be a rebootquel, bringing back Sigourney Weaver.
I think we're getting Alien versus Predator again.
You think so? Do they own Predator? Is that a Fox property?
I think so.
I don't think we're getting that.
Bring back Alien vs. Predator with Sigourney Weaver and Arnold both. Yeah, just give me my paycheck now.
That would excite me, but
well, you know you can kill them both off in that movie.
You can't do that though, and not have them play the same characters. That's not in the same time period.
No, I don't care.
Predator's in the 80s when it came out. Aliens in the future.
Space travel, man.
I guess. And that was the whole problem with Alien versus Predator to begin with. Those other movies is like it didn't go with the continuity of the other films. That wasn't the only problem with those movies.
They didn't care. Yeah,
they didn't care.
In the second one, that was a problem.
Arnold could have been in that movie for all I know.
No lighting budget.
Trying new things out. But let's talk about the idea in general. Do you like the idea of doing this to films?
If it's good, sure, go for it. But don't just piss on all the other movies,
right? Like
you did with Terminator: Dark Fate.
Exactly.
Ultimately, that is the Terminator. It's the same movie. You just kept your older characters, and just instead of John Connor, it's this girl. It's the same movie over.
I didn't watch Dark Fate. And I don't plan on it because
spoilers.
I did look up spoilers, so I know what happened at the beginning of the movie, and that's why I didn't. And we're going to talk about spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, you're about to be spoiled. So Terminator Dark Fate, like, well, let me take a step back here and my idea about it. If I watched one and it was good, then I probably wouldn't have a big problem with it. But I haven't liked the ones I've seen so far, and it seems like a lazy excuse to you don't want to do a reboot because they tried doing the era of like complete reboots back in the early 2010s, right? We got the Friday the 13th one in 2009, but then after that we got like Nightmare on Elm Street, a bunch of other films back. What?
How dare you trash that movie?
You got a bunch of other films along with those back in the early 2010s, late 2009s that were remakes, reboots, what have you, and they weren't very good films. So and you know, also had Ghostbusters was a reboot. I think it was 2016. People didn't really take well to that one. So they're trying to do something different. What can they do? They can do this where it's like, yeah, it's a sequel to the original film, but we don't want to we don't want to deal with these other films that people didn't like so much. So let's just take those out and do a sequel just to the original.
Like Ghostbusters.
Like what Ghostbusters?
The new one.
It's the third Ghostbusters.
Would you consider that a rebootquel though?
No, I would consider that just a sequel. Or a revamp. That's a whole nother idea too we can get into.
Yeah. Oh,
but I would consider a revamp. But yeah, so I feel like it's a lazy way for Hollywood to make a new reboot essentially, but still continue it and not have to deal with like the history of these other films. And it's just a lazy way to make a film, I think, at this point, because I haven't seen it done in a good way. Every way that I've seen the film, it seemed like they were just rebooting it, but bringing back original characters and shitting on what I already love.
That's it.
Going to Terminator, you said it was very much just like the original film. That bums me out. But also, the movie opens up with them killing John Connor. I have a big problem with that, and that's why I'm not going to watch the movie.
I didn't when I watched it because it was a surprise. But now that I was like, oh yeah, because I rewatched the first two before I went to see it because I'm like, all right, this is all I need to know. I don't want to watch your other sequels. Don't interest me. You're not wasting my time again.
Yeah.
But like I say, first scene just gets murdered. I'm like, oh, this is changing the game. And then I watched the movie. I'm like, well, this is the same movie, so don't know why you killed him.
Yeah.
Messed up. You just decided to, like, oh, you're not that important. Kill you off. Just make another person. That's exactly you. Just a girl.
And that's just lazy to me. And dumb. Like,
I had high hopes. James Cameron was coming back to produce.
Don't care about James Cameron in general.
But it's like this is your big claim to.
Yeah.
Like you were so excited to get the rights back, and this is what you gave us. How dare you?
And I looked and I was looking it up and how they explain it, how there were multiple Terminators sent out at the time, and that's how this one ended up going and killing John Connor. All that's believable to me. But the fact, like you said, you just replaced him and the whole thing happened again without John Connor, and
they were just chasing a girl.
Really stupid. Yeah, really, and she just becomes a leader, another resistance. But I also read it wasn't Skynet. It's just like a different company, but it's just like Skynet.
Yeah, we're not gonna call it that.
It's not for me. I'll stick with the other 4 Terminator movies and watch those because they're not that bad.
I have to rewatch the other 2 you're talking about.
I mean, I'm not ever watching Genesis again. That was a piece of shit. Which
talk about what happened. Mine just all over the place.
This was another one I was looking up before the video. I was looking up what people consider rebootquels, and I don't consider some of those actual rebootquels, but Terminator Genesis actually could be considered a rebootquel as well because it is not the 5th one in the series. Terminator Genesis
is kind of the first one.
It completely ignores Salvation. So Salvation doesn't exist in terms of Genesis. And I think it ignores Terminator 3 as well. Obviously, Skynet still went live at some point because in parts of Genesis, you have the part with Jai Courtney getting sent back in time. But I think the timeline of when that actually happened is different from the timeline that Terminator 3 took place.
But doesn't he go back to the time of 1984 Terminator?
Yes.
So it's like I say, I don't know. It's its own thing.
Genesis is technically supposed to be the 3rd film. Because it does say it in terms of Genesis, Terminator 1 and 2. Well, in terms of the John Connor backstory in Genesis, Terminator 1 and 2 did happen. But then now they're going to a different timeline. That movie was garbage, though. Don't recommend anyone watching it. It's just a confusing hot mess that should have never been made. But Terminator 2, great films. Rise of Machine, it's not great, not very good, but I still enjoy it.
I have to rewatch it.
And I don't think Salvation's bad. So it should have and could have been a lot better if it had a different director, I think. But I thought the cast was for the most part good, especially Christian Bale as John Connor. And I thought it was the direction that the franchise should have went. You know, it was new. It was the natural progression of the franchise, and people just wanted to see the same thing again. But now apparently they don't, because this movie didn't do that well. So I don't really know. But yeah, so that's my opinion on Terminator. I feel like it was just shitting on the franchise after you kill John Connor, the leader of the Resistance, this big character. That's like doing a new Star Wars movie, making a reboot of Star Wars, and going back in time and killing Anakin. And like,
we should.
I don't want to give any ideas.
That's probably the next idea.
The next idea here, or the next film here, is Halloween 2018. Which this one actually got me, like I think how Terminator, you were talking about Terminator, because when I saw Halloween in theaters the first time, I gave it 3 stars, which means not bad, and a like. When I rewatched it here at home, I gave it a 2.5, I think, or a 2. I can't remember, but not a like. I don't like the film. The idea that Halloween was going to do it and was getting rid of all of these unnecessary sequels was a good idea. I do think that was a smart move in general. I just think they messed it up. And for the sake of this, conversation, that adds to the fact that I don't think they should be making these rebootquels, really. So Halloween, obviously, it takes away the fact that they're brother and sister, which I'm not really a big fan of them doing that.
But I wonder if they're going to make it in the second one, though. If they're going to bring it up.
You think they're going to bring it back in the second one? Just to make them actually are?
I don't know.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, if there was just Halloween and then Halloween, like Halloween the original and then Halloween 2018, if there was just those 2 films, then I could live with the fact that she wasn't related to him and that he just got out of prison and came back to the same town again and all where he's from and all this happened. But the fact that they were making 2 more movies and that she's going to be, and Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be leading both of those movies. Bless you.
Thank you. I got the corona.
You don't sneeze with the corona, I don't think.
No. Well, I guess I'm cured.
The fact that she's coming back to lead 2 more films, why is he after her? If you just leave off that idea that you had in the new film where it's just about randomness and fear, why would he keep coming after her?
She tried to murder him.
She did in the first one. But
just keep coming back.
It just, I'm not a fan of that idea that they went with there. Obviously, I don't know. The writing with this movie just wasn't good for me. There was lots of moments where I was like, what am I supposed to be watching here? Is this a realistic film? Why are all the characters such dopes? The comedy's not funny. What's that?
Trailer got me. I hadn't rewatched it like you have, though. I don't want to.
You're going to do it before the new one comes out, though.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I said I don't want to.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll watch it again before the new one comes out. I'll give it another, one more chance. Another chance before this new one. But I'm sure I'm not going to like the new one either.
You're going to love it. 5 stars.
Maybe it'll be better than this one though. But
favorite horror movie of all time.
I just wasn't a fan of that. And then RoboCop, I don't really care. I watched the first one. Didn't really like the first RoboCop.
How dare you?
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, like I said, I'm interested. That could be good, but they've already tried it once and they failed. So
the thing with that one is you don't have really anything to do with, as far as like there's no lore behind it. No one's going to chase anybody. You're going to be at that house. Probably just going to be a new group of people.
You don't think? Well, They could bring back that character that got away, but the original actress died, I believe.
Yeah, she's not coming back.
Yeah.
But I mean, they say, why would she come back? I wouldn't go back. I'm not going to Texas again. So I mean, like that's the only thing with that one. Like with Halloween, or like pretty much any other horror franchise, you've got some kind of thing. Like with Friday the 13th, you could redo that because you're just coming back to Camp Crystal Lake.
I have this list here, and it was done by Cinema Blend, where they gave a list of films that they thought should get the Rebootquel treatment. And here are some of the there was a couple more on there that I didn't write down, but these are the notable ones that I wrote down. One was Friday the 13th, doing a sequel to only the original Friday the 13th.
Where the mom killed somebody.
See, that's why I don't think that would work. I think you would have to do, if you were going to do a Rebootquel to Friday the 13th, I think it would be to the third one. So the first three Friday the 13th would still exist, and this new one would be just the fourth one.
I haven't seen any of them, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So the original Friday the 13th...
That just never interested me at all.
It's not very good.
Guy with a machete, just run.
Well, the original Friday the 13th, his mom is the killer. Spoiler alert. His mom is the killer, and the end of the film, Jason jumps out of the water, and he's a kid, but he like jumps out of the water or whatever. And he's fucked up, he died. He looks rough. Then we go to Friday the 13th Part 2, which is the first film where Jason's the killer. He doesn't wear the iconic hockey mask, though, in this film. He doesn't have it at all. He doesn't get it in the film, nothing. He wears a potato sack over his head.
Nice. Bring that back.
Yeah. When we get to Friday the 13th Part 3, that's when Jason gets the hockey mask in that film. So, like, if you were making that, I feel like that's what makes Friday the 13th iconic.
Yeah, that's what people know.
So, like, for one, if you made a sequel just to the original, would you even have a sequel where Jason was in it?
Well, at all? I doubt it. I would, but you would have to. I know that about the hockey mask. So, I mean, now you do have to keep those three in there.
Yeah.
I would like them, if they're going to do Rebootquel for horror, I would like them to do one Nightmare on Elm Street. Just keep the first three.
I would do that too, yeah.
Bring her back. I mean, you're going to kill her off, obviously. Bring her back, like you did Nancy.
They didn't kill Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween.
But, I mean, they killed Nancy.
Yeah.
I mean, she would be the new Nancy, kind of. She's more popular now than she was, so you got a bigger name.
You can bring Lawrence Fishburne back.
Yeah. Robert Englund still kicking, so bring him back. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. I think they should do it. Try it out anyways. I mean,
welcome to prime time.
I think them doing a Nightmare on Elm Street, making it the fourth one, the real fourth one, which we really don't have to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Don't bother.
But I think that'd be a smart way to go financially, I think, and fans of the franchise would like that as well. And bringing back Robert Englund as Freddy. Yeah. But they also put on this list Die Hard, doing a sequel just to the original Die Hard and taking out most of those other awful sequels. The thing is here, Die Hard 3 is good.
De-aging him?
De-aging him? I would guess you would keep him the same age, but just get rid of all the other sequels.
What's wrong with the third one?
Third one's good.
That's what I'm saying. What's people's problem here?
But 2, 4, and 5...
Well, don't worry about 2. Just make a sequel to 3, and just you could keep 2 in there. It's watchable.
I haven't seen it in a long time. 2 or 3 actually. I watched the first one.
The guy who always runs for president on the Republican Party. I can see his face. I don't know. I'll look it up. while you're talking. I
Okay.
can see it. You'll know who I'm talking about when I say his name.
Ron Paul. They also put on this list The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
Fred Thompson.
Which I don't know who that is. He looks like I believe you.
He was in Sinister. Yeah, no. I thought there was more movies.
But they put on this list The Mummy, which their pitch here was that it would be the third one in the franchise, and you get rid of the third film.
Bring Rachel Weisz back.
Yeah, it says that. And I think that's a smart way to go. I think that Universal should do that. Now that they messed up this one with Tom Cruise. What's that?
Brendan might have to cut some weight.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could make him a more of a supporting role and make the kid maybe more the main character.
I don't want that. I don't give him the second one.
Well, it's gonna be a new actor.
I was hoping he bit the bullet. Is The Rock coming back though?
No.
As the Scorpion King.
This isn't a Scorpion King reboot.
Well, make one of those.
They also have Speed on here, getting rid of that Speed 2 cruise control and making a true Speed 2
with Keanu and Sandra Bullock.
Yes.
Go for it, man. I'll watch it. But what's it going to be on a plane?
Maybe.
Because you can't do a boat.
You could do a boat.
They're not coming for that.
Really dive into the fact that
they said you got me once. You're not getting me twice with cruise control. Or you could call it that, Speed 2 Cruise Control 2.
Or just Speed Cruise Control. Take out the 2. Got him there. Yeah, I'm assuming it would probably be a plane.
I don't know what else. Trying to think. It's the only thing that makes it. But who knows how to drive a plane though, or fly a plane?
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, she does like going fast, so maybe she learned how.
I don't know what else you would do.
That's the only thing I can think is a plane.
Limo.
Nobody cares about no limo. What is the Prom?
I'm trying to think of like other just train, but they already did a train at the end.
That's called the Commuter.
But yeah, I just right now like I think it's a lazy way to go about making films so far because, and I say that because like none of them has worked out in my opinion, and the ones that have felt like they weren't really dedicated to being those being what a rebootquel should be. They were mainly just there to reboot the franchise, but you don't want to call it a reboot. You want to bring back some of the original characters to get you, or original actors to try to bring people into the box office.
Cash grab. That's all it is.
Yeah, cash grab. That's what they feel like at this point. And, you know, if they make some in the future that I actually think, you know, if they made these on the list, if they made the Mummy one, if they made the Speed one, maybe even Alien, like these are ones that I can say, hey, that might actually work. I'll give it a chance. Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. Is there any other ones in like other films you can think of that you would want to see rebootquels for?
Just trying to look through my movies and see. If you'd asked me years ago, I would have told you Iron Man 3.
Get out of here.
If you'd asked me years ago, I would have said Iron Man 3 because I did not care for it. Oh,
I don't know any off the top, like big ones that would bother me, but you know, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Like I told you, Predator.
What was that?
You could do Predator.
Yeah. I don't know if the new Predator it was technically rebootquel. If they were ignoring Predator 2.
I blocked it out.
Because I never saw the new Predator.
Because I would ignore Predator 2 as well.
I think Pirates of the Caribbean. I know they're rebooting it in general, and that's probably the best way to go. But you could do a rebootquel to Pirates of the Caribbean, get rid of 4 and 5, and just do a sequel to the original trilogy.
Yeah.
But they've kind of, I feel like, already messed up the direction. I would still take that with the 5th film and the Will and Elizabeth storyline. I was trying to think. Christmas, the National Lampoons. I wouldn't mind them doing that. A rebootquel to that, where they get rid of everything after Christmas Vacation in terms of Vegas Vacation. Get rid of that. Get rid of that 2015 shit.
Yeah. Last episode, Top Shelf. You loved that one.
Yeah, it was great. Check it out.
Hellboy, they could do a sequel, I guess.
I guess that would just be a sequel though, because
the new one was a reboot. I guess that was
the
terrible.
new one was a reboot. Yeah,
that was bad.
I don't want them to do this, but in terms of if I had to face whether they were going to do a remake or whatever, they could do a rebootquel to Jaws.
Ooh.
I don't want them to do it, but they could do it.
Out there.
I would rather see that than a remake or a reboot, because you could get rid of definitely 3 and 4, and you get rid of 2 as well, and just do a sequel that follows new characters and Richard Dreyfuss, bring him back.
They're gonna remake Jaws with the cast I chose, buddy.
It's not happening, dude. Daniel Day-Lewis is done. It's over.
No, not when he reads my script.
They're not doing it now because they've already moved ahead with Matt Reeves' Bat. Well, actually, yeah. I'll talk about this first. My thoughts are getting ahead of me. But I know some people put this out there. It was like you could do, and I wouldn't mind seeing it, a rebootquel where you do a true Batman 3 in line with Batman and Batman Returns. Batman Continues, and see Tim Burton's true vision of that trilogy. You could even de-age Michael Keaton and put it back in the time period it was. Have him go across or face off with Two-Face and the Riddler.
For real this time?
Yeah, for real.
Real Bane in the next one?
No. You just do 3. Batman Returns, Batman Continues, with Billy D. Williams coming back, de-age him as Harvey Dent. Bring in somebody new as the Riddler. Billy D. Williams was Harvey Dent in the first Batman. I know
who he was.
I'm not saying I wanted to see this, but I've seen some people suggest it.
What's fair is fair, I guess.
Now something I would like is a rebootquel to Spider-Man. I don't. Spider-Man 3. Bad. Spider-Man 3 is a guilty pleasure.
It's bad.
Because there's parts of that film that I like. I'll still watch it. It because I love those first 2 movies so much. I'll still watch Spider-Man 3. But if you gave me a rebootquel with a new movie that was the true Spider-Man 3 and got rid of that and was a continuation of those first 2 films, I would love that. Yeah.
Sam Raimi coming back?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
At least as a producer.
Yeah, producing fine. I'm trying to look. I don't really see anything that I really care about.
If you had asked me, probably before 2006, I would have said Rocky.
Yeah.
Get rid of Rocky 5.
You'll watch your mouth. I don't tolerate this. I had to listen to this garbage.
They could do one for Fast and the Furious. Maybe that's what they'll do after they get done with 10 Part 2. They'll do a reboot.
So what? Where would you start? Where would you start again?
You only the original, dude.
Okay.
Paul Walker's not going to be in it though.
What?
So I don't know what the
So I've just got Vin Diesel to look forward to.
Yeah.
Again, you might as well just make Fast 11.
Ran out of ideas. Going back doing the reboot.
Hey, Going to space.
That's not happened in 10.
It better happen in 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing I'm looking at where it's like, yeah, that would be good.
Some people think that they did that with Jurassic World, but
Didn't feel like
there hasn't really been any indication that they are completely ignoring 2 and 3. They could be, because maybe that answers why they don't explain in Jurassic World 5 or Jurassic Park 5, whatever. I don't even remember that. Fallen Kingdom. That's the title of that film. I can't remember it. It's just like such a shitty film. And anyways, Fallen Kingdom, they completely ignore those other islands that are in the second and third film. So maybe they are ignoring them. I don't know. I really
addressed in the new one.
Yeah, it'll have to be addressed. Now, if the new one starts and Sam Neill and Laura Dern's character, if they're like married or something in the next film, yeah, you know they scrapped Jurassic Park 3.
I don't know.
Because she was like married with another family in that film.
Yeah, but you had Jeff Goldblum. I can't remember what he actually said he had done, this or that, if he said anything in Fallen Kingdom. So I'm not sure.
That relates to Jurassic World 2 or Jurassic Park 2.
I can't remember because I blocked it out.
I don't think he says much of anything except quoting it. It was 2 scenes. They filmed one and split it up into 2.
Yeah. All right.
But in that, yeah, I think he just talks about how it's a bad idea and they should kill the dinosaurs. So like really, like I watched it believing that this is the 5th film, but could it have been the 3rd? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
If the next one's as bad as the last one was, I'm just going to pretend none of those happened.
Can't be as bad. It just can't.
Oh man, don't say that. Don't put that out there.
There's no way.
But yeah, I can't think of any other Rebootquels that I would want to see right now, other than those. I'm thinking about trying to think about comedies and stuff too. What's that?
Star Wars.
No.
Get episode 9 again.
Yeah, I would like to see that. It obviously would never happen. But if you told me we're gonna do another film, it's gonna be Star Wars Episode 9. I know a lot of people out there, and this is also not going to happen. And I don't think I would really want to see it because I do love Force Awakens, and I like The Last Jedi a lot. So I don't know, but I know there's a lot of people because I love Kylo Ren and bringing back those original characters. But I know there's a lot of people that would like to see a Rebootquel and scrap this sequel trilogy in general.
Whatever. What about Air Bud?
It would be a sequel or a reboot.
Rebootquel to the first one, man.
That dog's dead, man.
No.
That's another thing. Is like I don't understand this franchise. Air Bud franchise is fantastic, guys. Yeah. We're gonna really go off the rails.
This whole video is gone.
Air Bud is an amazing franchise, and it's just gold. Like I don't know what studio owns this that isn't.
Golden Retriever.
But if you made a Rebootquel to this film, it would have to be back in the 90s because the original film was in the 90s.
Yes. Do it.
But yeah, like it's a good franchise. I don't know why they haven't went back to it. There's so much possibilities. You could do it just like the original. You could make the dog CGI like in the new Call of the Wild. You could
take it that far.
Make it animated. If you wanted to do that, there's so many possibilities. The original was him playing basketball.
This episode is over. Air Bud now.
Which came out in 1997. The sequel obviously was Air Bud Golden Receiver, and that came out in 98. and he played football in that film.
I think I like the one where he played volleyball.
Well, you hold your horses, man.
That's the new one.
So, you know, all the same cast was in both of these two films. I think the original dog was only in the first two films. But we go on to Air Bud 3, which is in 2000. He plays soccer in this one. You still got the original cast coming back. Then we go to the fourth film in the franchise, which was Air Bud 7th Ending Fetch. Came out in 2002. It looks like this is when they switched cast.
Jesus.
Yeah, Josh has gone to college now, and his little sister is taken over, I guess.
Oh,
but yeah, he's playing baseball in this one.
7th Inning Fetch.
Looks like they got a raccoon involved.
You should have saved that for the 7th movie, though.
Missed opportunity.
I know.
Then you come back with the fifth one a year later, 2003. You got Airbud Spikes Back.
Oh, love the trailer.
Looks like there's a parrot involved in this one.
Gary Busey could be in that one.
He might have been. He might have did the voice. Well, we'll get to that in a second. So that was the fifth one. Well, yeah. Hold up. Okay. Well, Airbud 3 was actually called Airbud World Pup. There was an alternate title there. But yeah, then we go into 6, which changes things up, and it's Air Buddies.
Yep.
Now, it says this is technically a spinoff, considered a spinoff of the original series, focusing on Buddy's pups.
Yep. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those.
Yeah, so there's Air Buddies, Snow Buddies. Now, this looks like, was this a sequel to both Air Bud and Snow Dogs?
And 8 Below.
I don't see any indication that this was related to Snow Dogs, but I'm going to believe that it was. 2009, we get Space Buddies. The buddies tag along for a field trip to the Space Museum and accidentally walk aboard a rocket ship. So this Space Museum actually has a spacecraft, a shuttle that takes them to outer space.
A working one at that.
A working one, yes. Incredible. And somehow these dogs were able to walk about. It looks like the Target dog makes a cameo in this one.
Space Buddies was the first one to be released on Blu-ray.
Wow. Then we go 2000. They skipped, we went 2 years here, and then hold on, sorry, that was 2008. 2000. It's just too much. 2009, we get Santa Buddies.
This is where Pixar took it from. Like, 2 movies in a year? Absolutely, we're going to do that.
Then they team up with another franchise that is separate. I guess it's called Puppy Paws, because it says the buddies team up with Puppy Paws, the son of Santa Paws, to end the melting of a magical icicle. And then we get Spooky Buddies. No. Oh, sorry. Once again. Then you get a spinoff of a spinoff. You get The Search for Santa Paws in 2010.
Like Spooky Buddies, there's like a beagle-looking thing.
Yeah, we're getting a crossover with Shiloh.
Is that the villain?
This dog looks dead.
What?
He looks like he's a ghost.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Like, why was there not an Air Buddies Scooby-Doo franchise put together?
Well,
could have been Spooky.
It could happen. We could make it. Then 2012, you get 2 more. You get Santa Paws 2, the Santa Pups, and you get Treasure Buddies,
which has
and a monkey, a camel and a monkey, and an airplane. They fly an airplane in this one and go to the pyramids.
There's Speed 2.
It looks like this might be a tie-in with Indiana Jones too, or like there might be a mention at least.
Super Buddies doesn't have a poster.
Super Buddies came out in 2013. No poster for this one.
Man.
But they haven't made us one since. That was the last one.
Did Robert Vince die?
I don't know. I'm gonna look real quick.
Nope, he's not dead. So what's the holdup, Robert? This is our new series we need to be watching.
Yes. Let us know in the comments, guys. Do you want to see us do a rewatch of these Air Bud films?
And if so, what order? Chronological or by release date?
All right, guys. That's our end of this On the Rocks episode about Rebootquels and about Air Bud. We hope you enjoyed it. Check back with us. We're gonna be on this about Air Bud. We're gonna figure out what's up with Disney. Why they're not putting this on
Line. Don't stop till we have it.
Yeah, we're gonna be diving into this Air Bud franchise. So keep checking back. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and we'll see you guys next time.